Hey, I'm Tom. I'm a senior here at Gloucester High School, a PR officer for the music department, and now I'm the host of the GHS podcast, Fisherman Fridays. Welcome back to Fisherman Fridays, the only show on the internet about anything and everything GHS. I'm your host, Tom, and today I'm joined by co-hosts Martina Gallo, Mr. Fleury, and for the first time we have a faculty on as a guest, Miss Rexs. How's it doing? How's it going?
Oh my God, it's going great. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we finally got you on. It's been a while, but in the making, but we finally got you on, and I'm very excited. I have some questions prepared for you.
Wonderful.
But before we get to that, how do you feel about actually being here and being behind a microphone and a camera and all that?
Well, it's like a dream come true. Final realization. Yes, I'm super excited. I'm happy to be here. You've been so excited about the podcast, and I've seen the trailers, and I've watched some of the podcasts, and I am a faithful watcher of the trivia games, or contests. So I can't tell you how happy I am to be here and how glad I am that we were able to make it happen.
Well, I'm really glad that we have managed to make your dream come true.
Oh, thank you so much.
You can be on the next episode of trivia.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I crushed it last year.
Yeah,
just
didn't
saying.
you beat Miss L?
I was going to say a rematch.
If she's up for it, she doesn't like all this camera stuff.
That's fine.
We got like the GHS cinematic universe now. Trivia, podcast.
Who's a photogenic person that's like
besides
you on
me?
Yeah, right. Need someone on your level to get on music trivia.
Right,
Maybe
and
it's
can we do
memory.
it like, can it have more of an 80s edge? Like, I'm an 80s girl at heart, hairband.
Make
You
it
can
look
do
like a
80s
VHS tape.
Okay.
questions.
So music
For
trivia
sure.
staff is on notice. 80s themed.
80s themed. I'll start the questions.
Rock on.
I can show you how to edit it to look like a VHS tape like I
Oh,
did for the
perfect.
English project I did a few months ago. So it'd be perfect, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
that's
down.
fantastic. Be
Molding
straight
and shaping Gloucester High School every step of the way.
So while we're on the topic of GHS through the ages, I guess that's the perfect segue into talking about you.
My favorite subject.
Yeah. So you always tend to joke in class about how you've been here at GHS since the dawn of time. But I'm more curious as to when the dawn of time for you actually is, because I'm assuming you weren't really here during the Big Bang, because I don't think the school was here really,
Right.
to my understanding.
No, that was between 5 and 20 billion years ago when the Big Bang began banging. So I do joke, but no, actually, so just a brief history. I graduated from Salem State College in May of 1993 with a Bachelor of Arts in Biology and minors in both chemistry, which is kind of funny because I'm a terrible math student, and education. So come August 26th, 1993, my 22nd birthday, I was hired by Superintendent Dr. Howard Goodrow. So I began teaching here at Gloucester High School for the academic year 1993-94. So it was pre-Reconstruction, it was pre-Time and Learning, it was pre-MCAS, so it was really a very different
Better
era.
times.
Yes, different times, good times. Oh my gosh, wonderful times.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you about that, because you've been here for quite a while now. That you have experienced a lot of different forms of GHS, even more so than like Fleury, for instance, who you've been here a few years, right?
As far as staff members, I'm a baby. This is year 5 for me.
Year
so.
5, yeah. Which I mean, for like me and Martina, 5 years here is more than
More
we'll
than-
experience, unless one
More
of us.
than you should be.
Oh my god.
But like, when it comes to faculty, it's a much different experience, because of course you're on the other side of things. You're not a student. You're the one supplying the education. So
Right.
I'm interested, like, out of all the years you've been here, or at least all the different kind of phases of GHS you've experienced, what would be like your favorite? What's your favorite GHS era?
And I think looking back, and I've given this a lot of thought, I think that my favorite era was early in my teaching career in those early years. So if you think of it, when I was first hired, I was 22 years old. My seniors that I had my first year teaching were 18 years old. So that was only a 4-year difference. So I really felt like I was still them. And the way I connected with those students was very different than now, 28 years later, right? I'm older. every school year, I got a year older and the students got a year younger, right? So that gap grew exponentially. But in my first few years teaching at Gloucester High School, I really look back on those years fondly. It was ridiculous. Like, I was teaching an algebra class. They had an Algebra 1 restart. You do not want this girl teaching math.
Yeah, you just said that you were not the best
Exactly.
at math.
But I wanted a job too, right? So like a weather and climate class, anatomy and physiology, a general biology. Like, I had all the ologies.
Wow.
So I was, some weeks I was 1 or 2 pages ahead of my students, and other weeks, like, I kind of knew what I was doing and I had it going on. But I actually forged friendships with some of those students, and it's so funny because on Tuesday, that snowy, slushy morning, one of the guys who works for Essex County Landscaper was a student of mine in my first year teaching. So he's still in the community, still in the area, he still calls me Teach, right? And we've actually been friends for nearly 30 years, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
And when you go back to the mid-90s, before they reconstructed Gloucester High School, right, there was no field house. My classroom was room 106, which is actually Miss Flaherty's room now. So the first floor was the science wing. But I really remember fondly, and I remember talking to Tom about this, on the Friday before Columbus Day weekend and the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, Gloucester High School had this tradition called Spring Fest. And so round about lunchtime, you would have administration would be manning those half-barrel grills, making hot dogs and hamburgers. They'd hire a DJ who would be out at the Circle, I guess, which used to be the original entrance to Gloucester High School. And so the DJ would be playing music, teachers would be milling about, kids would be like kicking around a soccer ball or tossing around a football or a frisbee. Teachers would be engaging with that as well, or just kind of hanging around enjoying the music and fraternizing. It was such a wonderful community and camaraderie, and it was a super cool way to kick off fall or that Columbus Day weekend, or spring, right, on the other end. And the spring weekend. It was just wonderful. It was
Why
such
would
good
we
times.
Stop that?
Yeah, I was about to say, GHS, let's bring
bring
back
that back.
Springfest. That sounds awesome.
And I think part of the reason why we lost that was because time and learning became more of a focus, and so being able to assign actual academic learning to an activity like that was a little more difficult. It was a greater reach.
That's one of the things I hope comes out of the shutdown, like everything, that I feel like just like doing things not just because they're related to academics, but just because they're fun, to boost student morale. I feel like that's a really big thing, and I feel like something like that would go, obviously we can't do it right now because you know, masks and such, but like when it's over, I hope to see like stuff like that kind of resurface a bit more, because I feel like just because something isn't necessarily beneficial academically to students and faculty, it definitely can benefit them in other ways, like mental health or stuff like that. And just like going out and having fun like that as a community, as a school, I feel like that would go a long way for some people.
And seeing your teachers not behind their desk, but you know, catching a frisbee with you is a little bit different, and you can really sort of forge those relationships or strengthen those bonds, the teacher-student bonds. And I think that really speaks to community, because that's something that I've often thought about for Gloucester High School. I've always felt a strong sense of community at Gloucester High School, and a really strong sense of family amongst my teachers. Like Jess Lichtenwald teaches next door to me. She used to teach across the hall from me, but we have become best friends. Like, can't live without her. Best friends, like over vacations when I don't talk to her or see her, like withdrawals. But I think that for many of us teachers here at Gloucester High School, like, we really do feel like a family. We work so closely with one another for the 180 days that y'all are in school, that we really do forge these really strong bonds, these friendships that are really more like family.
Yeah, I think that's a really important part of just like, whether it's faculty or students, like I feel like that's a super important part of just like the high school experience, especially here at GHS. So when it comes to like you back then compared to you now, is there anything you wish you knew back then that you know now? Or like, if you could go back in time and tell younger Miss Rex something that you know now, what would it be?
So I think from the real teacher perspective, and I think students aren't really going to appreciate this as much as my colleagues will, it's that classroom management. It definitely took me a solid 5 years to figure out what kind of behavior I would accept, what kind of behavior I wouldn't, and what to do about it. So in those early years, I could not command a class with a look But moving forward, I really do feel like either you call it the mom look or the teacher look, but I can whip around, flash you a look that straightens you right up in your chair or closes your mouth. And I didn't possess that before. It was difficult. And again, too, being such a young teacher with students that were within 4 years of my age, it was hard for me to establish that line of respect that teachers and students really do need to have those safe relationships to move forward. So I would definitely want to give young Miss Salvo some classroom management tips, and I'd also want to tell her to not stress so much.
Yeah, and if you want to look back in the time machine, like this is year 5 for me, the classroom management thing, like I feel like last year and this year have been the years that have been like, okay, you said, what is my line? Kind of what behavior will I accept? This year, I've really, it's a little more difficult this year, but I totally understand that feeling that it's taken a lot of gauging.
Sure, yeah, and they don't prepare you for that in student teaching. Like I did my student teaching at Beverly High in 1992, and it somewhat prepared me, but when I walked out of the main office here at Gloucester High School with a stack of textbooks, like to go home because school was starting in like a week, and I had to be prepared for all these classes, oh my goodness,
There's
like I was dumbfounded.
That's how I felt my first band camp here. So I was hired
band camp.
July 2016, and it was a month later that I was in here teaching students, and there's nothing that prepares you, and not to say that you have bad professors that don't prepare you, it's just like nothing can prepare you for the experience of coming into the classroom for the first time and being in charge at that age. And I'm just like, okay, well, here we go.
Right. Trial by fire for sure.
Very much so.
Trying to read my own handwriting. I write in like Mandarin Chinese.
It's not that bad.
Chicken scratch?
Yeah, exactly. So having been here at GHS, and like having experienced it now, like you said, having experienced different aspects of it and learning throughout it, what would you say like is your favorite and least favorite aspects of being a teacher here at GHS?
So I've been here for nearly 30 years, and so the favorite aspect for sure are the students. I have learned just as much from the students, I think, as they have learned from me. And I think the lessons that I've learned from the students I've taken to heart. I think that they've made me a better person, and I also think that they've kept me young, right? So I'm looking at my 50th year this year. That's half a century. And when you think about that, it kind of takes your breath away a little bit. Okay. I need a minute.
Take a sip of water.
But when you think about that, like people don't have any idea that that's the age, right, that I am. And though maybe I'm not listening to your music now because satellite radio lets me live in the 80s all the time. But I've learned so much from the students. I've become a better person, and you've kept me young. And so I super appreciate that. And my least favorite part, that would be the correcting. The correcting and the state mandated tests. Yeah. Because I think the state mandated tests have sucked the fun out of learning, and they've really forced some teachers in some of our classes, especially when you think of like your MCAS, I'm thinking specifically of MCAS prep courses. Those teachers are forced to teach that content and teach to the test because they need their students to excel or to pass, to earn a proficient at that test. And so, for like in biology, it takes away a lot of like the inquiry and the discovery and the fun part, like learning it because it's interesting, because I want to know more, and because it's fun, where these are the concepts that you have to learn, right? And they have to be drilled into your head. So I'm so grateful that as my career has changed over the years, I'm teaching primarily elective classes that aren't tied to state mandated tests. So I have that freedom that we're able, right, to learn stuff because they're fun, or because it's funny, or because it's interesting, or because it's something that somebody doesn't talk about.
Yeah, I mean, as a student, I can't speak for you, Martina, although I have a hunch you probably also agree. I hate state-mandated tests. And you led into this with saying that you predate MCAS, so you probably saw it come in, and I wonder, did you see any like changes like within the students or faculty you work with when that became like the norm?
Right. The changes really, it became more stressful, and teachers were disappointed that they had to cut parts of their curriculum out that maybe they really enjoyed. Like, for example, I used to do a lot with dissection when I was teaching biology, and people have different views of that. And with technology, there are many different ways that you can now do some virtual dissections as well, so it doesn't necessarily have to be with the physical organism. But that was like a part of my curriculum that I noticed students maybe that struggled academically would excel, and they would come alive, and they would do so well, and I would be so excited to see such a change where maybe they were a struggling student or like a failing D student, and then they got to this part that they like got into it up to their elbows, and they were so excited and they learned so much, and then they were able to explain it to like the other students that maybe education or academics came a little more easy to them. So when we had to cut that stuff out of our curriculum, that was disappointing. And then the stress. Teachers are worried that if their kids don't pass, it's going to reflect poorly on them. And so that, I mean, that's a tremendous amount of pressure for the students to be under, but also for the teachers to be under. And now, you know, I'm in charge of the students, and I can't control what's going on in their world and their life. And I don't know how this stress is affecting the student in their performance, and that's not fair. You know, as a teacher, if I give a test and if a whole bunch of kids fail, I have to look back and see, did I teach that properly? Right? Was I able to convey the information to my students and make sure that they've learned it? And by the same token, did I word the question in a way that it matches the way that I taught them that concept or that information? So I have to take some of the responsibility if the majority of my class, you know, gets one particular answer wrong or does poorly on a test. And the state doesn't seem to look at it that way. And I don't think that's fair. So sometimes you have to look at the test. Sometimes the test isn't good, and a good teacher would look at the test and maybe either reteach or retest.
I just personally think that testing and like anytime a person is reduced to a number or a statistic, I don't think it's an accurate representation of them. Like for me personally, I have like terrible ADHD, so I'm terrible at tests. I'm terrible at remembering things. If you give me a string of like 6 numbers, I'm not gonna remember it. If you told me that your favorite candy bar was a Toblerone though, I'd remember that till the end of the time. I don't know why, don't know where the disconnect is, but like just somewhere in there, numbers don't stick, like facts don't stick. It's why I've never been good at tests. It's why like I'll understand a concept, but then come time for midterms, come time for like a state like test, a state
like
standardized
SATs or
test.
something.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the perfect time to move on to our next segment. It's a segment that we like to call Fisherman Foods. Yeah. But this week we are going to be dishing up a smorgasbord of different types of sour candy. I don't know if this was in frame for all of us, but you probably have noticed that we have this. And we also have some people in the background who also will be joining us on this delicious exploration of sour candies. I know that, Mr. Fleury, you're very excited to do this.
I am not. I love fruity sweet candies, and chocolate's my jam. Reese's are my jam, but sour candies, very much not.
Oh my god.
This is going to be fascinating.
It'll be fun.
And I do want to say before we get going, for those of you watching at home, we are masked up. We are also more than 6 feet apart. So when we take off our masks to eat, we're doing it with safety.
Yeah, it's not like Martina's right next to me.
Yeah.
Jess is right next to me. Fleury's right in front of me. We're all
quite far
pretty
away
far
from each
apart. But before we dig into this appetite destroying plate, I'm gonna go home and not be hungry at all. It's gonna be great. But yeah, before we dig in, I'll just run you guys through everything on the plate. So first up, we got Trolley sour bite crawlers. So I think these are like gummy worms, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sour
Which
gummy
is like
worms.
right there, gummy worms. Next we got Haribo. I feel like I think I've
You
just
can't
now
say
realized
it.
that it's yeah, I know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't speak today. I think I've always called these Haribo though, with an R
Haribo.
right there.
Haribo. Oh
Yeah.
man, that would be awesome.
Well, I think I've
Haribo.
been pronouncing it wrong my entire life and didn't realize until right now. But that aside, Gummy Bears. And then we got some jelly beans, which I have to say, I was talking with Martina about this beforehand.
They look pretty good.
Yeah, they don't look sour at all. Like
Yeah.
if you look at them, I don't know if this will focus, but if you look at them, they just look smooth. They don't have any of that like craggly sugar on the outside.
What kind of sugar?
Craggly? Stop making fun of my like speech impediment.
I
I
don't
was just
trust
wondering
it.
what
I don't
kind
trust
of word
these.
that was.
I don't trust these jelly
Craggly.
beans.
Craggly. I think that's how it's
Craggly.
spelled. Yeah, I'll
Sure.
put up the definition of craggly on the,
Okay.
on
It'll be
the
a
screen.
right here.
Yeah, right there.
Craggly.
We don't got Owen this time to do it,
Yes,
but there we go.
I got you covered.
All right, next we got more sour gummy bears. These are a little bigger than the Haribo ones. Haribo. And then finally, or not finally, because we have one other thing after this, but we got Sour Punch Bites, which I feel like have the potential to be the most sour. I feel like I've seen these as like a really sour thing. They just kind of look like
Are they the little balls?
they're
No,
these
these are
things. They
What are
look
the
like
tubes? Okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't know they were hollow. I thought they had stuff
It's like
in
a
them.
sour artery.
I can see
Oh
it.
my god.
God.
Sorry,
and then-
sorry to get bodily.
Actually, finally, we have Juicy Drop Pop, which we have extracted all the juice from and put into a little puddle on our plate that we can use as
Wait,
a
there's-
nice sauce.
There's also the Sour Patch Kids
Oh, yeah.
and the Skittles.
Oh, did I just totally forget? to
did.
mention
Oh,
that?
do we have sour
There's
skills in here?
Yeah, those are the
there's
balls.
Sour
Agreed.
Patch Kids. This is the blue one, and then we also have Sour Skittles.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
they're coated, so they're not sour
They're
like
coated.
They're craggly.
They're craggly.
Craggly.
God.
Loving every minute of it.
All right, so what do you guys want to start with? I feel like we should tackle
I feel
one
like
at a
the-
time.
I feel like the classic Sour Patch Kids.
I might have
Props.
already eaten one.
A crime.
Rex is all over.
We
it.
should rank them out of 10. So like,
Okay.
and then
In
we'll
ra-
see
like
what.
1 not so sour, 10 super sour.
Yeah.
And I know if you're a fan of sour candies at home, we could not find Warheads, or
Thank
I even found
no.
something. I even found something online like called Toxic Waste.
My kids
yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
Toxic
I have
waste.
I
not,
saw that. It's
I've never
basically
had it,
just
never
like
seen it.
citric acid.
Oh,
in the-
awesome! That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
I don't
we
like
should do
candy
that
that
another
hurts me.
episode. Well, and
Toxic
it's
waste.
just Fleury. We'll,
Oh
we'll
my
just be
God.
like drinking water in Fleury. We'll get you like a water bottle full of citric acid.
All right, so here's a Sour Patch Kid.
All
All right,
right.
I'm going in for the blue,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
but I already
take
ate a
blue
red one.
I had a yellow. Yellow and orange are my favorite.
I love
He's
Sour
making
Patch
a
Kids.
funny
Same.
face.
Yeah.
We found Fleury's weakness. It took us 4 years, but we found it.
See, the magic of
You're
the
just
Sour
gonna
Patch
get
Kids
some
is just
ASMR.
once you suck off the
Oh, no.
craggly sugar, they're not so bad.
Craggly.
Yeah, that's their slogan. It's first they're sour, then they're sweet.
Yeah, get through it.
I
Okay, but which color is the most sour?
Oh.
I had a couple of
Lemon,
red ones
I
and they're
think.
good.
Reds
Yellow
are good. Blues aren't
Either,
bad.
either the yellow ones or the green ones.
yeah,
All right.
I love orange. Orange is my favorite. I think.
Yeah, I'm
By
not.
the way, if you're anyone at home that's really hating the sound,
I'll make it really loud.
I'm really sorry.
I'm not. You know what you were coming here for. You like this is you stuck around for Fisherman Foods. This is what you get. All
Can you
right.
imagine if we did the hot sauce with this?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Be awesome.
Throw back to the first episode.
Yeah, we got a little bit of sauce, just like the first episode.
Should we dip the Sour Patch in the sauce?
Yeah.
like
Mine,
the sauce.
mine,
Yeah.
leaked, mine leaked over to it, so I already had some sauce.
All right,
on it.
ready? Sauce time. Let's see if it's more or less sour with the sauce.
Juicy sour sauce.
This is the most disgusting thing
All right.
Oh,
I
there
like
it
the
is.
sauce.
There it is.
Yeah.
Is it our generation? Do we
it's
just
just
like
not
have?
that pleasant to have with the
Yeah,
sauce.
but like it's not like the
It's not
face.
sour.
Is it sour watermelon?
It was I think it's
I feel
I
like-
think because we mixed them. Remember? So it's
Oh, great.
yeah.
Oh,
we
we
mixed
put
them.
two different flavors.
It's strawberry kiwi and
I just love Sour Patch.
knockout punch, whatever that is.
All right, what's
Um,
next?
Want to do the gummy worm? I feel like that's the next like classic.
Yeah. Red and
Red
Do I
and
go red, yellow,
Yeah, red
red,
and blue.
blue? Because
Red
I'm
Red
not.
yellow. That's a combination. Oh, it
I
is.
got
I got a red yellow. It's,
I
it's
got
in the
red
sauce
yellow.
I'm
though.
gonna do red blue.
Yeah, red blue. My favorite is probably orange green though. I think.
You want? Alright, these are more sour than the.
Really?
That's not
These
sour.
are
Oh,
less.
really?
These are less.
Is it because it
Was
was in
yours
the
in the
juice?
sauce?
Yeah, it's probably the juice.
Yeah,
the
it's not
sauce.
That's like not sour at all.
Nope.
That
I'm gonna
tastes
have
like
another one.
You know what that
Wow.
tastes like?
Another
It
red
tastes
blue
like
one.
I don't know if you two ever had them, if they had them back then, but I remember, Martina, you might have had these. Like the Scooby-Doo fruit snacks. Mm-hmm. That's what they taste like to me.
But the blue ones?
Yeah, the blue one, they were
are,
all
like,
clear
cloudy?
except for the one blue one that
They
was
changed that.
Did they?
They changed it so the blue ones aren't like cloudy anymore.
That's the worst.
Which
I
kinda
loved
sucks.
the blue ones because for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking
Just show
about.
them on the screen.
Yeah, they were the best. I remember being in like preschool and being like going to town on those and like Scooby snacks.
These
Those
definitely taste like Scooby
I'm getting
snacks.
saucy with these now.
Oh, I didn't dip it in the sauce.
I'll sauce one.
For somebody who doesn't like sour candy, you're doing
This
all right over
this
there.
one actually wasn't like at all.
The sauce
I like
just
the red
doesn't
blue.
taste good.
The
Ooh.
sauce is yucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You're gonna
love the
have
word
so many
yucky.
cavities.
It's also
Oh
it's
my
like
God. I've never had a cavity in my life.
You're
I
gonna
don't
have one
Until
after
tomorrow.
this.
Yeah. I'll wake up and my teeth will just be like.
Oh, we didn't
black.
rate
It'll be
them.
great. Oh, wow.
Okay.
We said we
I'm
would.
giving
we
the
didn't.
gummy worms like a 2 on the sour.
Yeah.
I would say probably 0.
Yeah, same. There's like no sour action in my mouth
I got
really
some
when it comes to the
tang.
gummy word.
Yeah,
more
but
tang
there's a
than
little
sour.
bit of tang with the Sour Patch Kids for a second too. So when I go low though on
I was giving that
on the
4.
bears,
I would give the Sour Patch Kids a 2, and then the gummy worms a 0, like you said.
Yeah,
Fair
Sour
enough.
Patch probably like a 1 or 2.
I feel like they're the same.
I feel like everything's gonna be a 10 for you, and then
we-
like
No, it's- oh,
an
no.
11 when it comes to dipping in the
All right,
sauce.
so
No,
Let's
I've
move on to the
desensitized
gummy
myself with the Sour Patch
I'm
Kids
excited
because
for
I've got
Gummy
a
Bears.
10-year-old and a 12-year-old at home who love the gummy candies, and so I've learned to suck the sour off and then
And
enjoy
then it's
the
like a
sweet.
Swedish.
And I like the red ones. I know this is a blue one, but I like the red ones because they taste like a Swedish fish, and that's
Yeah.
the jam.
Swedish fish.
I used to
Love the Swedish fish.
when I was a kid, I used to bite them in half and then like stick them together.
Different
and be
colors?
Like, look what I've done. Yeah, a creation.
Oh,
It'd be great.
Frankenstein.
I feel like every episode of the podcast, I disclose
Talk
a
about
new
something
bit of
you-
like some weird thing I did as a child.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and so like whoever from GHS watches this, they'll just be walking in the halls. Someone I've never talked to and be like, that kid was weird when he was like.
All right, so we're going straws next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, we're doing the gummy straws, which are just kind of like.
Oh, I got one stuck together.
Ooh.
So do I go the blue, the green, or the red?
It's like pasta.
There it is. Found it.
Yeah, but it's not. Ooh, yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You think?
Takes it a second.
But then
I
it's
have
it.
no sour.
What's wrong with
doesn't-
us? Why,
Can we
why
just
are we
burn for a
incapable of tasting
second?
it?
No.
No.
Oh, your tongue is broken.
I think our generation is just used to eating like weird candy.
Garbage.
Painful candy.
Yeah.
Oh, but this is sour all the way. Like it's still, the flavor is sour. Like it doesn't have the sweetness that the
like a
Sour
Twizzler.
Patch Kids have.
Yeah.
It's like a Twizzler, but you guys are saying it's sour.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is.
the texture is
not
Twizzlery to me.
You're
Your
broken.
face is sour.
Oh.
Boom, roasted.
I'm gonna dip it in the sauce.
Get out of here.
Actually, I want the blue without the sauce.
Suck
It's a
up the
straw.
sauce.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a straw. So
Ew.
I'm gonna.
Why am
hold
I
on.
doing this again?
Will this work?
I really don't like the sauce. But
Oh my god.
It didn't work.
Yeah, the sauce is disgusting, to say the least.
While we're doing this,
So worth you driving.
if
to
you
go
have
get it.
if you have something that you think would be good for us on Fisherman Foods, comment down below.
We ask that it's edible. Like if the Board of Health would tell us not to, would advise us not to consume it, then maybe don't recommend it. But
It's a good call.
The sauce is like sour, but it's just not like a pleasant taste.
Yeah, and well, that's why I think the tube, the candy part of the tube. Once you what's it, craggy? Once you get the craggy sugar
Craggly.
off.
Craggly with an L.
And so it's like the citric acid sugar, which holds some of the sour, and it's not bad. Like I'm not being assaulted in the mouth, but I think that the candy itself is sour as opposed to sweet. Like the sweetness you get from the Sour Patch Kid after you get the sugar off. I don't
just
get
don't
these are
taste the
sour
sour.
through and through.
Hey,
Yeah.
ready for a good joke?
Hit me.
This is courtesy from one of my uncles.
Oh boy.
yeah,
Two
no.
peanuts were walking down a road.
Oh god.
One was assaulted.
I
That was a good one.
Thank
I
you very
can't
much.
like laugh
Thank
at
you.
that because I've heard it like thousands of times from my dad.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you said the
It
two
is- it's a
peanuts, I saw that coming from a
Oh
mile
yeah, it's a
away.
typical dad joke.
Total.
All right, I gotta eat a gummy bear.
Well, we have to rate those
The big gummy
sorry.
bear or the little gummy bear?
My bad.
on a sourness rate
Sourness
from 1
rate for
to
the
10.
straw.
If I
would
gave
say
the
a 1.
if I gave the Sour Patch Kids a 2, I'll acknowledge that they don't have the sweetness that they were talking about, but it's still not high, so I'll give it a 3. Just slightly
You know what?
higher than Sour
I
Patch.
had no
I'm gonna agree with that.
a 3.
Yeah.
I had no sourness, so I'm gonna have to say 0.
5.
Like I
Think
really
you
had
need,
no.
you need, you know how like you
I
have to
felt
clear
it.
your
I'm going 5.
you
I
need like
felt
some
nothing.
pickled ginger or something to clear your palate.
Pickled
I
I
ginger.
have Schweppes.
Ginger.
Well, so if you're eating the sushi, because
Oh,
my 10-year-old
yeah,
loves
okay.
the sushi, it's supposed to eat the pickled ginger.
So I have a question for you. Your 10-year-old likes sour gummy candy and sushi. Like,
Yes. So if my husband said, "Oh, you want to do takeout for dinner tonight? What do you want?" My 10-year-old Christopher would be like, "Sushi. I want sushi. Can we get sushi?"
Wow.
Wow.
A sophisticated
I didn't have
mouth.
sushi until like late in college.
Right,
for the
but
first
12-year-old
That's wild.
will barely choke down a California roll. The 10-year-old is like looking for a spicy tuna roll.
So I just found a gummy bear. I don't know if this will show up on camera. The entire bottom it doesn't have sauce on it. It is soaked into the gummy.
Oh no.
So it's like infused.
Oh, that's good.
So
Well,
this
I've got one of
I'm
those.
gonna take some of these,
yeah.
some of the smaller gummies.
yeah,
yeah.
I think these are the Haribo ones.
Great,
Yeah, the
let's try it.
Haribo.
Yeah, definitely Haribo.
That's the sauce.
These are nothing. These are perfect.
Oh,
No mi piace, the sauce.
oh, that's an easy
Piace?
0.
I actually do not taste any.
Kind of disappointing.
Easy 0.
It just tastes like a normal gummy
Tastes
bear,
like
but like
gummy bear.
crunchy.
What about the
Which
other
is the
gummy
worst.
bear?
Yeah, let's go for the bigger gummy bear here.
I've always
brother.
found the gummy
I
bears
have
are hard
two
to
of
chew.
these. Yeah, the Haribo ones are hard to chew. I have 2 of
They're
these stuck
tough.
together.
Okay, ready? Oh, these ones are even harder to chew.
Oh, great. There
Like
goes my
tough.
temporary crown.
I actually haven't torn it in half yet with my teeth.
These are sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These aren't sour at all.
no sour.
That's another 0.
Like a -1.
This
That's
is
what I really like.
Should we do
The
the
not
jelly beans?
Haribos.
I like both of them. I'm eating
Yeah,
them
both
just
of them.
like because I enjoy them.
The Haribos
Yeah.
are kind of hard though to chew.
All
I
right,
don't
I
know why
feel
I'm,
like we
like,
have to
squishing
attack these
them.
jelly beans because they're deceptive.
Okay, I'm gonna go for the yellow.
I'm going for the orange.
I'm just getting
I'm
some.
an orange man. I'm wearing an orange shirt. It's perfect.
Now
I'm
Going-
like it was meant
I'm
to be.
going blue. No, I'll go red because Valentine's Day.
I'm just crushing a bunch of them.
Oh, this is disgusting.
Orange isn't sour at all. Is that sour?
Lemon.
I'm trying to
It's
figure
not
out the
sour.
flavor though.
I'm not a fan of
It's
normal
not
jelly
sour,
beans.
but it doesn't taste like.
I love
jelly
me
bean.
some Jelly Bellies.
There's a little tang,
No,
I
I
got
got the red.
I can't find it.
just a scotch.
Where is it? I can't. I'm like actually
Scotch.
trying to.
for
Scotch.
reals.
That's like his favorite.
That's like a
word.
mom word. That's like my mom word.
My bad.
No, it's not
Okay.
bad at all. Facetious is another one of her words too.
The
These-
yellow ones are terrible.
These
The red ones and the
recommend.
blue ones are good.
are they lemon or banana?
Oh, maybe they're
They
banana.
might be banana.
Oh, whoever thought that banana candy is a good idea?
It's
Now
not.
and
Maniac.
laters.
Bananas belong with peanut butter and in bread with chocolate chips.
Banana
chocolate chip
chips though are pretty good.
All right, hold on. I got
Okay.
a tickle in my throat. I swear it's not
Just a
COVID.
scotch.
I just had one of the yellow ones. It's really
It's
gross.
not good.
It's not good.
It's
Yeah,
Were
like
the
a
orange ones good?
like a banana
Yeah,
flavor.
they're
I had a
fine.
banana flavored gummy bear the other day,
Ew.
and
Yeah.
it was just not great.
Did you do the green? Is the green
I don't
okay or
have
is it
any
gross?
greens.
You know,
I don't
you
know.
know what? We were talking about at the beginning how the gummy. Oh my god, we're
Right.
having a stroke.
I'm gonna
The
dip it in the
jelly
sauce.
beans don't look sour, and they aren't. Like I feel like that's why they didn't
No.
look sour, and they
Yeah,
just
but
straight
then
up
like
are
the
not.
gummy bears look like they're sour, but they're not.
I'm giving it a 1
Yeah.
for tang
I'm giving it a
I
nothing.
dipped my
because
jelly
it had a
bean in the
little tang.
sauce.
I'm
I just did that
tang-free.
too, and the sauce brought all the.
Well, that's
tang.
because I'm a sour wimp.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sour Skittles.
All right.
Sour
Before
Skittles.
recording, I called that the sour Skittles are gonna be the most sour. So
Okay.
that's my theory.
Valid.
I'm just gonna take a.
I'm gonna
Take
show
a
the
bunch.
I'm,
camera.
I'm
Going
nervous.
for an orange.
I'm
Just-
going purple.
Just got a bunch.
It is my favorite color. You're gonna.
Red.
Yeah, I'm one of those weirdos that I don't separate my Skittles colors. I just like mash them together.
I'll admit this is the first one.
Oh.
Oh, right off the bat. It's hurting my tongue.
Really?
It,
Wow.
I felt it, but not that.
Take a bunch of them.
So like,
I'm gonna finish them
is
off.
that a challenge to put all of them in your mouth at once?
Let's
Wait,
do
but
it.
once you
I
get
think
it
it
off,
is.
then it's a normal Skittle. Whew. Once you
Yeah,
get
but I
through the
love
burn.
Skittles.
All right, we're good.
I'm proud to say that I was correct about it
I'm gonna
being...
put all of
You
them
were.
in my mouth.
Yeah,
at
wait, hold
once.
on. I'm gonna do that too.
Do it.
I'm watching.
Because then if this gets us, this will be like the first thing that actually makes
I want
us
to see
have
the
a fun
tears
version. Ready?
in
3,
your
2, 1.
eyes.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, because they're broken. Don't choke. Really?
Yeah, okay. That's not surprised.
I'll say I feel it, but
Don't patronize me.
No, I taste the sour this time.
It doesn't burn like it hit my tongue.
Giving that a 5.5.
So when you guys gonna get like a bunch of Reetsies?
Oh,
they have a lot of different kinds.
vertical
these days.
Reese's test. That would be good. We should just do a separate Valentine's Day video.
Did you say
What's
Reese's
everybody's
or
favorite?
Reetsy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you know what Reetsy are?
I do not.
Then we
Sea
should do them.
urchins?
We should make him do them.
What are they?
Sea urchins.
You flip them upside down, you cut off the Aristotle's lantern, and then you take your
It's like-
fingers like your bread and scoop out the orange.
Oh, that would be a
roll.
great Fisherman Foods, like local Gloucester cuisine.
I've been forced to try them my
That sounds
entire life.
really weird.
I've never tried them, and I'm kind of interested because, like, when the Honorable Mayor Romeo Taken gets them, she like does videos. She is in heaven.
all over Facebook.
She cuts them with the scissors. She gets the bread. She scoops it out.
They're not bad. They're just not great.
Sounds about right.
I was forced to try one this summer, and like my whole life I've seen them, because like when we go to Italy, like my dad will immediately go into the water and like get a bag of them and eat them at the beach.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like one of those things you just take them out of the water, crack it open, and you eat it.
Scoop it out.
And
I
it's
feel
like
like we're
bright
gonna have to do this.
Orange.
We're gonna
bright
have to do
orange.
this, Tom.
I hate seafood.
It's like kind of
excellent.
Seafood.
Excellent.
Oh, God.
I can't wait to watch that one.
I
say
hate
again.
seafood to the point where
Uh-oh.
I don't know the last time I had it.
Oh, okay.
Really?
It might have been.
So you don't like
years and
sushi?
years. No, I want
Damn.
to. I want to.
Sushi's so good.
Hang out with my
Like,
It
10-year-old.
is good.
Like I'm trying to like more things, but just seafood. Like the ocean's filled with nightmare creatures, and I don't want to put them willingly into my body, right? Like,
But you'll eat this crab candy?
this is like this won't kill me, right? This won't kill me, but like,
But why take the chance?
I mean, it'll kill me in time if I eat a couple a day for like 40 years, probably.
Honestly, I think this was a terrible idea though, to eat all of this together.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home. My parents are definitely gonna have something like cooking, and I'm gonna be like, cool, not hungry.
I have a gymnastics meet tonight.
Ooh,
I'm gonna
fun.
get to compete on
bless.
beam. You know, maybe I won't do the flip off the end.
Do they have janitors there? They'll be ready.
Ready just in case.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Feeling good.
So yeah, I think this is a good spot to end this 4th episode of Fisherman Fridays. Thank you so much, Miss Rexs, for coming by and letting us interview you and letting us fill you up with various candies.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
Thanks for the candy. Thank you so much for having me. I was so happy to be here.
Yeah, you've gone
to have
down
you.
in history as Fisherman Fridays' first ever faculty guest. So put that up and put that on like your wall. Put it like,
On my resume.
Yeah, exactly,
My
your resume.
career.
Perfect. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, the whole shebang.
Obliterate that like.
Destroy it.
Just
Absolutely.
leave nothing behind. Absolutely obliterate it. Nothing left.
Not
But yeah,
even the bell.
Nope.
The bell is gone.
the entire comment section destroyed.
Yep.
But yeah, until next time, I'm Tom,
I'm Martina.
I'm Mr. Fleury.
I'm Mrs. Rexs.
and this has been Fisherman Fridays. Bye.
Bye-bye.